Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Let's do a fragrance video review today, guys. Now, today's video is going to be for those of you who like a strong leather note in their fragrance. When it comes to fragrances that heavily rely on the leather note, especially when we talk about designer side, one of the most famous fragrances out there has been Tom Ford's Ombre leather, and for a good reason. It has good performance and interesting scent profile, but like with any other Tom Ford fragrance, it tends to cost quite a lot. So in this video, I'm going to show you an interesting alternative, quite cheap, to Ombre leather. It comes from a Middle Eastern fragrance house that's called Al Absar, and the fragrance in question is called Jod SaQar. Let's check out the presentation of the fragrance real quick. The box is black with golden accents. You got this sort of a hawk pattern on it on the front and on the sides as well. On the back, on the front, you got the name of the fragrance, the name of the fragrance house, the concentration, EDP, the bottle size, 100 milliliters, some additional information on the back and on the bottom, also a production date, which is December of 2022. Once you open up the box, this is how the actual bottle looks. As you can see, it has quite an interesting design to it. Again, you have that same hawk or maybe an eagle that's shaped into the cap itself. The bottle is quite heavy, comes with this again black and golden accents, and the actual cap is made out of metal. So all in all, the build quality and the packaging is quite nice, especially considering the price point of this fragrance. When it comes to the scent and the note breakdown of this fragrance, unfortunately, I couldn't find a definitive note breakdown, but I was able to source a few different note breakdowns. Now, according to them, the top notes of this fragrance are supposed to be cardamom and raspberry, the middle notes leather and jasmine, and the base notes amber, patchouli, and oak moss. Some places have a note of rose listed, others not, but that doesn't matter. I'll tell you how this feels, at least to my nose, how this smells. Let me show you the sprayer in action. It's a nice sprayer, puts a wide amount of spray out. The only problem is that it doesn't put a lot of juice, so maybe you need to overspray a little bit when using this fragrance. So how this smells. The good thing is that there's no harshness in the opening, no alcohol blast, no nothing. Immediately when you spray this fragrance, you pick up that slight hint of raspberry note, a slight sweetness from the raspberry note. I pick up a touch of that cardamom as well, and a lot of the leather. That's how the opening of this fragrance feels. Once this starts to dry down, I pick up some of that jasmine note. There's a slight sweetness from the amber on the dry down. There's that mossy feel from the oak moss. I don't pick up much of a patchouli, at least my nose, but it's probably there. But the dominant note is the note of leather. True and true, from the opening to the dry down. I also pick up a hint of rose in this fragrance. Now, it's really a hint of rose, like a touch of rose. It's not very prominent, but to my nose, the note of rose is here. So all in all, this is a fragrance that relies heavily on the leather note with some supporting a sort of rose played by raspberry, a little bit of the cardamom, a slight sweetness from the amber, and a bit of the mossy feel from that oak moss. Now, compared to Ombre leather, to the original, how this smells, how close does this smell? To my nose, this feels quite close, especially on the dry down. The opening is slightly different. This, to my nose, is less sweet compared to Ombre leather in the opening, and also the leather in here feels how to call it, feels a bit harsher, not in a bad way. It just feels a bit more rugged, as if the type of leather that's been used in this fragrance is slightly different compared to the original Ombre leather. If I have to compare them side by side, the opening I would say maybe is about 85% close. Then on the dry down it gets to about 90, maybe even over 90% close. Now officially, Ombre leather is marketed as a unisex fragrance, although it's regarded more as a masculine type of scent. Now this, the Arabian variant that Jod SaQar or Jod SaQar, to my nose, feels even more masculine because of that ruggedness that I get from the leather note in here compared to the original. Now, when we talk about performance, this is another area where the original is quite strong and highly regarded because it has very good performance. and Jod SaQar also doesn't disappoint. Now, when I've gone through my testing, it's not as long lasting as the original, but still it's not a slouch either. I constantly get about 8 to 9 hours of performance with this one, and in fact I even get slightly stronger projection at first, at least in the first 1 hour compared to the original Ombre leather. In total, this projects nicely for about 2 hours, with the first hour being very strong, and total longevity on skin is about 8 to 9 hours, which I think, in my opinion, is a very good performance. Price wise, I paid about $25 for this bottle, which I think is a very good price, considering that this will get you very close to the original scent. It has very good performance, as I said, 8 to 9 hours of performance. And also the leather note in here is quite realistic. So all in all, it's a great deal as far as the pricing goes. When we talk about versatility, this is a fragrance that will see pretty much the same use case scenarios as with the original Ombre leather, meaning that definitely this is a cold weather type of scent, you know, late fall, winter, early spring. I don't advise you to wear this one in higher heat because it can get too strong and be a bit overwhelming to your senses. Also, compared to the original Ombre leather, I think this is leans a lot heavier on the masculine side compared to the original, which, as I said earlier, is considered to be an unisex fragrance, although it's more masculine again. But this feels even more masculine compared to the original. So in today's video, I showed you what, in my opinion, is a great cheap alternative to Tom Ford's Ombre leather from Absar Jod SaQar. I hope that you found this video interesting or informative. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future content. Stay safe, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye bye.